Well, hey there, beautiful. Welcome back to the Metabolic Alchemist. I'm Carly. And if you listened to the last episode on bone health, today's episode is the other half of that conversation. We're talking about muscle. And I need to address something right off the bat because I hear it constantly in my programs, in my DMs, in my clinic, in my messages, women saying, but Carly, I'm worried if I only use light weights. Why don't I just lose all my muscle mass that I've spent years trying to build? Shouldn't I be lifting heavier? And I totally get it. That would be quite confusing and quite an important information to understand. The fitness industry right now is really loud on lifting heavy. You know, Stacey Sims is all about lifting heavy, and so is most of the fitness industry out there. But every second reel on Instagram I see is telling women over 40 that they need to be lifting heavy, deadlifting, squatting heavy, loading a barbell, or they're wasting their time. And that is, in my opinion, wrong. I am going to show you today why that is not true, why the research actually supports what we do inside our programs, and much more importantly, why muscle isn't just about how you look, it's about how long and how well you live. Muscle is your longevity asset, guys, and this single most underrated factor in metabolic health, weight management, and aging might just burst that bubble on lifting heavy. So today, we're covering what exactly is happening in your muscles after 40 and during perimenopause and menopause, why light weights with the right strategy absolutely do build and preserve muscle, and my food principles, specifically protein quality and timing, directly support muscle health, and why the women who try to out-exercise their hormones with long cardio sessions are actually making things worse. Let's dive in, ladies. All right. Let's set the scene. I love this. Um, what's actually going on inside your body when it comes to muscle mass as you hit 40 and beyond? Well, there's a term for it. It's called sarcopenia. It literally means poverty of the flesh. Lovely, right? It's a bit gruesome thinking about that. But essentially, it's a gradual, progressive loss of skeletal muscle mass, strength, and function that happens as we age. And for women, menopause throws fuel on that fire. Dun dun dun. Just another thing that we've got to look forward to, ladies. All right. So, research published in the International Journal of Women's Health found that during the menopausal transition period, women lose on average about 0.5% of their lean body mass per year, while simultaneously gaining about 1.7% in fat mass per year. So, you're losing muscle mass and gaining fat faster at the same time. And here's a real, let's just say, conundrum. Being postmenopausal nearly triples your risk of developing sarcopenia compared to premenopausal women. So one study found that the prevalence of sarcopenia jumped from around 3% in early perimenopause to 30% in late perimenopause and menopause. Whoa, that's a massive leap in relatively short window of time, right? So why is this happening? Well, let's come back to that old friend of ours called estrogen. Again, just like with bone, estrogen plays a protective role in our muscles. It helps regulate protein synthesis and degradation, supports your mitochondrial function, which is your cellular energy production, guys, and has antioxidant effects on our muscle tissue. So when estrogen drops, all of those protective mechanisms weaken. But here's what I want you to know before you go and jump on HRT, which you don't need to. This is, this is not a death sentence for your muscle. Understanding what's happening is the first step to doing something about it, right? So, and the good news, muscle is incredibly responsive to the right stimulus and the right nutrition at any age. You can absolutely build and maintain muscle mass in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. And you just need to be really strategic about it. Hello, that's what I'm here for. Strategy princess in your house. All right, so let's tackle the big one. The question I get asked more than anything about my exercises: can I actually build muscle with light weights? Yes, period. I mean, full stop. You know what I mean. And the science is now really overwhelming for this. In 2023, there was a meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine. which again is the gold standard for research, okay? So it found that lifting lighter weights produced comparable muscle growth to lifting heavy weights. Let's say that again. Lifting lighter weights produces comparable muscle to lifting heavy, but the key variable wasn't the weight on the bar, it was the effort. Okay, so specifically, training close to failure. So, what does that mean? Meaning, really, that you're reaching the point where you genuinely cannot rep again with any good form. Okay, so you're moving into muscle fatigue. Let me explain how this works because the mechanism is very elegant. When you pick up a heavy weight, your body immediately triggers and recruits something called fast twitch muscle fibers. They're the big, powerful ones responsible really for growth. And it has to involve those because the load demands it, right? So that's the mechanical tension. And it's one of the primary drivers of muscle growth. But when you pick up a lighter hand weight, or weight in general, and do more reps, something different starts to happen. Your body starts to engage smaller, slow twitch fibers. And as those fatigue, your nervous system progressively then goes and recruits more and more fibers, including those fast twitch ones. So, in order to keep that movement going, it starts to use all of the fibers. By the time you have approached complete failure of that muscle on a high rep set, you've recruited virtually every available muscle fiber. Same destination, different path to get there. So there's also the time under tension factor. A set of 20 reps kept your muscle under load for 45 to 60 seconds, and a set of 5 heavy reps might be under tension for about 15 to 20 seconds, right? So more time under tension means more total mechanical stimulus. The more stimulus, the more muscle adaptation. Do you get what I mean? So there was this other brand new research that I read out in 2025, which confirmed this yet again. One group did 3 to 5 reps with really heavy weights to failure, and another group did 20 to 25 reps with lightweight to failure. Both the groups saw equal improvement in muscle strength and muscle hypertrophy. So equal, basically. So when someone tells you that your 2 kilo little princess dumbbells are a waste of time, then you can confidently repeat the research because it says otherwise. Now, this is where my approach gets very specific because I don't just hand you a pair of light hand weights and say, hey, do some bicep curls. No, no, no. In my programs, I encourage women to have a couple of weight options available. So you start the set with a heavier weight, maybe 2 or 3 kilos, while the muscle is fresh, right? Then as fatigue kicks in, as you move through your reps and your sets, and you can't maintain that form, you then drop to a lighter weight and then you keep going until the end of that rep and set. This essentially is called a built-in drop set. And this is the benefit of getting that heavier load to start with when your muscle can handle it, then pushing through true fatigue with a lighter weight. You are now recruiting every single fiber in that muscle group. You're reaching failure safely without needing a spotter over the top of you and a whole full gym full of equipment. And I meet women where they are. So some women, they start with just their body weight, no weights at all. Think about your squats, your lunges, your push-ups against the floor or against the wall. They're still perfect. You are still engaging your muscles to fatigue. Then when your body weight starts to feel a little bit more manageable, like you're feeling like, okay, I could do these easily, we then add a kilo, maybe 2, maybe 3. And then as we start building you up physically, that progressive overload, the principle of gradually increasing to challenge that muscle growth, still keeps your body adapting. So you don't need to jump to a 20 kilo dumbbell leg press 100 kilos, which is what I was doing. You just need to keep yourself progressing from where you are at to muscle failure with higher reps. The other thing I do, and this is really important, is I change the workouts constantly. So the muscle groups change every second day. The exercises that we do, we switch them up every week, then every month. The program evolves all the time. And why do I do this? Because your muscles adapt to repeated identical stimuli within about a 4 to 6 week period. So if you're doing the same routine week after week, day after day, your body stops responding. Think about those gym programs where you go 3, 4 times a week and you're doing the same leg presses, the same bicep curls, the same chest presses. You're doing the same exercise under a heavy weight with a lower rep over and over and over again. And the muscle goes, "Hey, yeah, I know we've done this before, nothing new here. I'm bored." Well, I guess that's what they say. I don't know. Can you hear your muscles? Anyway, your muscles should never, ever, ever get used to the same workout in the same week. That's my principle. I get bored easily. So do your muscles, right? This is the same principle that we talked about in the bone episode last podcast. You have to surprise the tissue, just like we surprise your bone. Surprise creates adaptation, and adaptation creates growth. And we want that growth because growth is fat burning. And this brings me to something else I need to say because I can't stop saying it because I know some of you are doing this right now. Walking. The big W word. Okay, I love walking. It's wonderful. I love walking. It's great for your mental health. Your dog loves it. Your nervous system loves it. Your cardiovascular health loves it. And guess what? Your mood also loves walking. Walk every day. I don't care. I support that wholeheartedly. But if you are walking for fat burning, hello, you fast walkers out there trying to do 10,000 steps a day, you're not going to preserve muscle mass, ladies. Actually, it's not effective at all at fat burning either. Here's why. Walking is steady state, low intensity activity that your body has completely adapted to. And guess what? You've been walking since you were about 1 year old. Actually, my daughter started walking when she was 8 months old. Can you believe that? She was running around all of her friends in playgroup while they were still on their bellies, and my 8-month-old is walking right through them. Most people start walking about 1. Guess what? Most of us have been doing this a long time. Your muscles know this movement inside and out. You can walk literally in your sleep. Some of you might do that. There's no novel stimulus there. There's no significant muscle group that you are recruiting beyond the bare minimum needed to keep you moving and to keep you asleep. And once you stop walking, any calories that you're burning in that exercise also stop. Running is similar. You probably can't do it while you're asleep, but it's higher intensity than walking, sure, but it's still repetitive. It's still steady state activity. And for women over 40 with changing hormones, prolonged running can also become a cortisol problem. Go back to my episode 1 on cortisol conspiracy. Long duration causes elevated cortisol. Chronic cortisol elevation is catabolic. That means that we break down tissue, including muscle tissue. Not only that, it stops you losing weight. So the cruel irony is that women who are running for an hour or walking for an hour thinking that they're doing the best for their body might actually be contributing to further muscle loss. You're basically eating your muscle for fuel, ladies, whilst storing it around your middle because cortisol leaves it all around our middle. Ugh, isn't that annoying? Walking for our health, but storing it around our middle. This is the biggest conundrum of all. This is why my workouts are 15 minutes. That's it. Short, intense muscle push to fatigue, pumping for our bone health, then you stop. You get in, you create the stimulus, and then you get out before cortisol can even become a problem for you. Then the next day, it's a rest day. You can go for a gentle walk that day. You can do your yoga. You can do your stretching. That's where the magic happens. The muscle that you just aggravated in your workout the day before starts to repair and rebuild during the recovery phase, the second day, not during the workout itself. The workout is the stimulus. The recovery is the growth. When you grow muscle, you get stronger. And when you get stronger, you burn more fat. So why should you care about any of this? Why does muscle mass even matter beyond just looking toned? And I'm not talking about having massive guns. I mean, I don't have massive guns. I've just got enough that I can carry a couple of shopping bags safely. I'm not looking for a bodybuilder's body. If you're a bodybuilder listening to this approach probably is not going to be the be all and end of it. But if you're just a woman over 40, or any woman for that matter, who just wants to be fit and toned and live longer, hello, longevity, then this absolutely is related to you, because muscle is your metabolic engine. It's the most metabolically active tissue in your body. Every kilogram of muscle burns significantly more energy at rest than a kilogram of fat. So the more muscle you carry, the more calories your body burns just by existing, just by sitting on this desk chair, actually by sleeping, and also by watching telly. When women lose muscle through menopause and perimenopause, their resting metabolic rate starts to drop. So they're burning fewer calories doing nothing, right? And this is exactly why so many women in their 40s and 50s say, I'm eating the same and I'm exercising the same, but I'm still gaining weight. You're not actually imagining that. That is actually physically happening because your metabolic engine has begun to shrink. There's less muscle to burn fuel, because building or even just maintaining muscle mass is the single most effective long-term weight management strategy for women over 40. So you can forget your calorie counting, you can forget your marathon running cardio sessions. Your muscle is the thing that actually determines how efficiently your body uses energy 24/7, even while you're asleep. And it goes beyond metabolism. Muscle mass is directly linked to insulin sensitivity, meaning more muscle helps your body process glucose more efficiently, which is critical for insulin resistant ladies out there, because when we're insulin resistant, we can increase belly fat around our middle. And that happens through perimenopause, it happens through menopause, and we want to protect your bones. We covered that in the last episode. It reduces your fall risk as you age when we have stronger muscles. It supports your bone integrity. It supports your independence, your quality to live well, really, and longer into your 70s, 80s, and 90s. We don't want to be frail women. We want to be strong, fit, long-lasting women. And when I say your muscle is your longevity asset, I mean it, literally. Research consistently shows that people with higher muscle mass live longer. They stay more independent, they recover from illness and surgery faster, and have better metabolic health across the board. This isn't about aesthetics. It's about actually the quality of life that you're looking forward to. And here's what most programs and fitness apps out there miss. They treat each of these benefits as separate goals requiring separate workouts. A muscle lift heavy session here, a cardio HIIT class for fat burning there, a yoga or Pilates or walk or swim for stress over here. Suddenly you need 5 different sessions a week to do all of those things. But what if one smart, short, strategic session and system could tick all of those boxes at once? Would you sign up for that? I would. That's exactly why I created my methodology. I am not just looking pretty here, guys. I've got a little bit of stuff up there. That's what my methodology does. And I'll bring it all together at the end of the episode for you. But before then, all right, you are training smart, you're creating the right stimulus, but here's the other thing. You cannot outtrain a poor diet when it comes to muscle. Exercise creates demand, Nutrition provides the building materials. Without the right fuel, your muscle cannot rebuild. And this is where food principles come into play because everything about the way we eat inside my programs is designed to support exactly this. I'm being smart about the way we eat. Also, guys, let's start with the most important thing, and that's the type of protein that you're eating. Your muscles are built from amino acids. They're like building blocks. There are about 20 amino acids in total, and 9 of them are essential, meaning your body can't make them. You have to eat them. And they all come from animals, guys. Animal proteins complete that 9 branch chain amino acids that comes from beef, chicken, fish, eggs, lamb. All of those 9 essential amino acids in the right proportions are in those foods. They're complete proteins. But within those essential amino acids, there's one that actually is more powerful than anything. It's called leucine. Leucine is the trigger for muscle protein synthesis. Think of it like the ignition key. Without enough leucine hitting your bloodstream after a meal, the muscle building process will barely activate. No matter how much protein you shove in, it needs leucine. And here's where it gets really important for women after 40. After 40, your muscles develop something called anabolic resistance. Just to say that it's being difficult. Basically, your muscles become harder to stimulate. And the same amount of protein that triggered robust muscle building in your 25s produces a blunted responses in your 50s. So you need more leucine per meal to overcome that resistance. And research suggests that you need roughly 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine per meal to activate this muscle protein synthesis. And animal proteins naturally contain 8 to 13% of leucine, whereas plant proteins generally only produce half of that, 6 to 8%. So you need to eat significantly more plant protein to get the same leucine trigger. And even then, the amino acid profile is often incomplete anyway. So this is why I say that it's very, very hard for me to treat people who are vegetarians and vegans, not only for weight loss, but just for general health as well, because you just don't get access to those branched chain amino acids to build strong muscles. In a study in 2024, there was a team that actually confirmed this. Plant-based protein stimulated muscle protein synthesis, but not as effectively as those using animal-based protein. Think of whey, collagen-based. However, when they added extra leucine to that plant protein, they actually did match the output of the animal or collagen or whey-based protein. So basically it's saying that it's all about the leucine. So this is why I prioritize animal proteins in my protocols, not because I'm anti-plant vegetarian people. No, I am not against that, but I am fundamentally supporting my branched chain amino acids in my programs. When it comes to the protein component specifically, animal sources give you the most efficient muscle building package. Grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, organic chicken, eggs, they're all your muscle building foods, and they naturally deliver the branched chain amino acids, including leucine, isoleucine, and valine in the amounts that your body and your muscles really need. Think of it like a food supplement for your muscles. And here's another thing that I want women to know. Your body can only effectively use about 25 to 40 grams of protein per meal for muscle synthesis. That reminds me of my iron podcast. Remember, we could only absorb so much iron in our supplements. Same as we can only absorb so much protein in our food intake. Anything above that, it doesn't really get into the muscle group for muscle building. It just gets used for other functions or converted into energy. So having a tiny breakfast, a light lunch, and then a huge steak at dinner, you're basically wasting most of your muscle building efficiency. You had 3 opportunities and you only hit it once at dinner. I structure the meal plans to distribute quality protein, branched chain amino acids across every single meal. Breakfasts include collagen protein or eggs. Lunch has leftover protein from the night before or chicken. Dinner includes quality animal proteins. Every single meal across a day contains leucine at its highest threshold independently. 3 opportunities per day for muscle protein synthesis instead of just one. And here's where the broader food framework comes in. In all of my programs, we eat in what I call the Goldilocks zone, roughly 60 to 80 grams of quality carbohydrates. So therefore, the reliance in that macro is higher healthy fats and higher protein. This isn't a low carb diet. This is a moderate carb with high protein and high fat. And it's like that for a reason. It's strategic. Here we come again with the strategy. By keeping our carbohydrates in this range, your body maintains its metabolic flexibility. So it can switch between burning glucose and burning fat efficiently. The high protein supports muscle maintenance and repair. The healthy fats, avocado, essential fatty acids like coconut oil, nuts and seeds, fishes, they all support your hormones. That includes the ones that influence muscle preservation. And critically, this approach keeps our insulin stable. Chronically elevated insulin promotes fat storage, especially around our middle as our estrogen declines. And it can also interfere with all of our other growth hormones. So, as you can see, it all connects: the food, the exercise, the sleep, the hormones, all in one system. Beyond protein, there's a few other nutrients worth knowing about for muscle health. Magnesium. I talk about this in pretty much every single episode. Magnesium is essential for muscle contraction and relaxation, and without it, you can get cramps, poor recovery, and inefficient muscle function. Most women are deficient in magnesium, so just take it. Vitamin D, another one most women are deficient in. It's directly linked, can you believe it, to muscle strength and function as well. Vitamin D deficiency is incredibly common, even in Australia with our hot sun, and it is associated with muscle weakness, increased fall risk, and accelerated sarcopenia. If you're low in D, your muscles are absolutely going to love you when you add some more in. Collagen. I love collagen. I've covered this in many, many podcasts, but it's relevant here too. Collagen supports your connective tissue around your muscles, tendons, ligaments, and fascia, and it provides the amino acids glycine and proline that also promote tissue repair as well. So our programs always contain a collagen protein powder in the morning and or just throughout the day as a nice little snack. This is a really good one for all women also. The other one is creatine. I'm going to actually do a separate podcast on creatine because I get asked about this a lot, but I wanted to just plant the seed here that it is also very, very well researched around muscle preservation, strength, and it's showing some really great benefits for women over 40. So watch this space for a specific podcast on creatine later on. Lastly, sleep. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The hours before midnight are your growth hormone best working hours. Growth hormones is the main driver for muscle repair, fat loss, and also regeneration. And it's released predominantly during our non-REM sleep hours. That's the first half of our night. If you're staying up till midnight watching Netflix and sleeping until 8 a.m., you are, yes, getting 8 hours of sleep, but you're missing the most valuable part of your night, the hours before midnight, for muscle growth, repair, regeneration, and also fat burning. And finally, let's not overgloss the exercise. I know I keep coming back to this all the time, but chronic cortisol from overtraining, lifting heavier, injuring yourself is breaking down your muscle. Your rest days aren't laziness days. They're where our active muscle recovery and building blocks are happening. The workout creates the micro damage. The recovery is where your body repairs and builds you back stronger. And if you ever miss your recovery window, then you're just continuing to break down tissue without rebuilding it. So don't miss those rest days, ladies. All right, so where does this all leave you? Well, I hopefully think it leaves you in a very powerful position, actually. I want you to really hear the next part because the thing that ties everything together is what I teach. When I say we work smarter and more efficiently, I mean it. What we're doing in those 15-minute sessions isn't just one thing. It's not just a muscle workout for fat loss. In that same short window with the same exercises, we're building and maintaining healthy muscle mass, which is what I've covered in today. We're also protecting bone density through impact and resistant work. That is all in episode 22. Go back and listen to that. We're also triggering fat burning and metabolic heat for our weight loss. If you've ever been with me since the beginning, episode 4 and 9 will talk all about that. And you know what else? We're supporting better insulin receptivity, which is the frontline defense for everything against type 2 diabetes and cognitive decline. I talk about that in my brain health conversation, episode 20. Go back and listen to that one as well. So all of that I'm packing into those 15-minute workouts without spiking cortisol, without spending hours at a gym, without a trainer telling you to lift heavy when your body is telling you and screaming at you to do something different. You see, most of those fitness programs out there ask you to train for one outcome. Lift heavy for muscle, do cardio for fat burning, walk for stress, and suddenly you need all of those different things. What I've built is a system, one strategic approach that addresses multiple outcomes simultaneously because your body isn't separate. It's one integrated system. Your muscles, your bones, your metabolism, your hormones, your insulin, your brain, all of them respond to the same stimulus when it is done properly. I designed it for this in particular. That's what we do inside my 7-day metabolic breakthrough and also my complete 4-week metabolic magic program. It's not a workout plan. It's not a diet. It's a way of living longer. It's a methodology combining exercise, food, nutrients, recovery, all of them working together, because when you understand how your body works after 40, you don't need to do more. You just need to do the right. Just that almost beautiful, that one thing that I want you to know to do today is if you do it right and smart and strategic and efficiently, you can do more. That means you have more time to do everything else that fills up your bucket. So if this episode has hit home, share it with someone that you love, your mother, your sister, your best friend. You don't need a gym membership or a heavy 20-kilo barbell. You just need the right system and the right coach. Ask me anything. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, lovelies. Have a great day. And that's a wrap. Phew. If something clicked for you today, I've got all the links to my favourite products, supplements, and exactly where to buy them waiting for you in the show notes. Just head to the show notes for the links to those pages or my website, inner-alchemy.com.au, and let's turn those frustrating symptoms into your comeback story. Thanks for sticking around. I'll see you in the next episode.